Hello and welcome to Tech Session. My name is Yong Leafen. I am a software engineer at IBM TRIRIGA team. This Tech Session will cover a new UX framework component triblock-responsive-layout. In this demo, I will go over how to set up and use triblock-responsive-layout component. We will look at how to set up the component, how the component behavior work, how to use component attribute, component method, and component event. What is triblock-responsive-layout? A triblock-responsive layout is a responsive container that controls the behavior of its child elements. The child element displays horizontally on the browser screen width that is larger than 600 pixels and vertically on a browser screen width that is smaller or equal to 600 pixels. To show you what I mean, let's jump into the code and look at the demo application. Here I have set up a basic use of triblock-responsive layout. I have my component imported, and I have 3 boxes inside the responsive component. And I give each box a different color. As you can see on the demo application, when the screen width is larger than 600 pixels, it displays horizontally, and it will display vertically when the screen width is lesser or equal to 600 pixels. This responsive behavior, or switch from horizontal to vertical, can be configured. We can do that by using the small screen max width attribute, which we will visit later when we talk about the triblock view responsive layout behavior. Let's take a look at the component attributes for triblock responsive layout. Here are the main attributes. Stack reverse, used for reverse order of the child elements. Switch view, used for a different responsive layout behavior. Current view ID, current view, and views should use when the switch view attribute is used in the component. Current views return current display child DOM element, and views is the array of all child DOM element. Let's take a few of these attributes and put in our demo code. In the demo app right now, if we resize the screen width to smaller than 600 pixels, the layout is vertically ordered, as you can see. But if I use the stack reverse, the child element inside here will reverse its order. Now let's put that in our component. If I refresh, you can see it reversed the order of the child elements. Now let's take a look at the switch view attribute. If the switch view attribute used, when the browser screen width is lesser than 600 pixels, all the child is hidden. And to show, we need to use the current view ID and assign to the child element ID that we want. So here, let's assign current view ID to box 1. Now you can see the box on the show when the screen width is lesser than 600 pixels. Next, component method. So how can we switch one child to another element during the application runtime? Let's say I want to go to child second element instead of the first element or the third element. There are several ways to do that. We can do a data binding on the current view ID attribute. We can use the switch to view ID method by passing the child ID, or we can do a switch view to index method by passing the index number of the child element. Let's start with the data binding approach. In our code, let's change the box 1 and bind to select box. Let's set up the button so we can click the button to show different child element. To do that, first let's import the button and let's add the paper button. In the paper button, let's also add the class to our button, make it horizontal, and let's write that to our method in each button. when the bottom is tabbed, call this function showBox1, showBox2, and showBox3. Now let's create our method that will change the value of selected box. So here, if the showBox1 is clicked, it will change selected box to box1, and same thing with box2 and box3. Now as you see early, if I refresh, initially it's nothing here. So let's go with our second approach, which is using switch to view ID. In this case, let by default set current view ID to box1. Also give triblock-responsive-layout an ID. So we can call it method. In the method, let's keep the method name, but use switch to view ID instead of the data binding. Now, if I refresh, so by default, the current view ID is box1, and then if we click on different button, it will invoke switch to view and passing the child ID that we want to display. Alright, and the last approach that I want to use is the switch to index. This is similar to switch to view ID, but we pass the index number of view instead of the ID of the child element. Let's say we want to go back to the first box. We can use switch to view index and pass 0. Let's write that in our code. Let's first add paper button called reset. And let's write up when the button is tapped, call method reset, create reset method. So what it does is it called the pointed ID and it called switch to view index and pass the index of 0, which is the first child. Refresh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Reset back to 1 again. Next, there is an event that gets fired every time the view gets switched. This event can be useful to notify the parent of the responsive layout component when the switch view attribute is used. The event detail contains an object of current view and index number of the child component. For the demo, let's set up the listener and listen to every time the event gets fired. Back to our code, let's set up event listener. So right here, when on responsive layout switch view display is fired, call this method handle responsive layout event. In the method, what I did here is just log out in the console event get fired and log out the current view ID. Save, refresh. If I go to different, let's say box 2, we got the box 2 DOM element, box 3, box 1. And this is how you use listen to event. Let's talk about the triblock view responsive layout behavior. This behavior has a few attributes that could be useful to handle responsiveness. Let's take a look at those. Let's first start with the small screen width and small screen max width. Small screen width is a read-only property that shows true when the size of the small screen max width is matched. By default, small screen max width size is 600 pixels, and we can modify it to any pixel value. For example, let's say we want to have small screen max width to 500 pixels. Let's change it in our code. Refresh. As you can see, now we have 3 boxes because the width of the screen is bigger than 500 pixels. And if we resize to smaller, we can see the switch view responsive come back. Now, with the small screen width attribute, we can do many things. For example, we can hide the bottom when the small screen width is full. In our code, let's bind the attribute hidden to the bottom container with the small screen width attribute. Here we say if the is small screen is full, hide the container. Let's bind small screen width attribute in our responsive component. Refresh. As you can see, the bottom is hidden because the screen width is larger than 500 pixels. Below 500 pixels, the bottom come back. And it still functioned. Next is the small screen height and small screen max height. Similar to small screen width, but the difference is this property handles the height of the screen. By default, the small screen max height is 800 pixels. When the height of the screen is lesser or equal to 800 pixels, the small screen height is true. We can do many things with this property as well. For example, let's say if the height of the screen is smaller than 500 pixels, pop a new dialog pop-up and say the screen height is too short. And close the pop-up when the screen height is greater than the small screen max height that we have set. In our code, let's import triblock pop-up. For more information about triblock pop-up, you can check triblock pop-up text session. First, let's import the component. Use the component. Let's give pop-up an ID so we can query component and use its method. Let's bind the attribute small screen height and observe its value when it's changed. Okay, here I create triblock pop-up, given an ID, and I create a property is small height, and observe it. When its small height change, I invoke this method to call the pop-up to open, and when it's false, I close the pop-up, and the value of its small height change based on the triblock-responsive-layout small screen height, which bind to that is small height. This is supposed to be property. Other attributes in this behavior are medium screen width, medium screen max width, and medium screen min width. Similar to small screen width, the medium screen width will be true when the width of the screen is between medium screen min width and medium screen max width. By default, the medium screen min width is 601 pixels and the medium screen max width is 1024 pixels. For demonstration, we can do something similar to small screen height. Let's make the pop-up open and say screen width is medium when the screen width in between the range that we set. In the responsive component, let's change the medium screen min width to 501 and medium screen max width to 900 pixels. Let's bind medium screen width to its medium screen. First, let's organize our attribute. Let's give medium screen width to 501 pixel and medium max width to 900. Let's bind medium screen width with its medium screen. Let's add a property and observe it. Then create a medium screen chain to handle when the value change. Similar to small height chain, pop-up is open when medium screen width is true and close when it's false. Let's put some logic in the pop-up. When to show screen height is too short, when to show screen width is medium. One last thing I want to mention about the tri-block view responsive behavior. Since it is a behavior, this means it can be implemented and used in other custom components. For the demonstration, I have set up a very simple component that is implement the behavior. All we have to do is import the behavior and then start using the behavior. And we can start applying the logic. This is my application. As you see right now, it's in medium screen width because of the width is 700 pixel in that range. And if I resize smaller to less than 600, you see that it's go to small screen width. And if I make it larger than 1024, it will go to the larger screen. This concludes all my presentation for setup and use triblock responsive layout. Thank you.